Fresh and Fit still out on YouTube.
They're making crazy bank right now.
Basically, all the guys that went over to RedTube or whatever.
No, it's not
called.
RedTube. That's
I'm
what you
kidding.
watch when you're alone. Listen,
I haven't watched that in a year. You want to move
a year? That's it?
No, actually longer. Fucking.
Oh,
It's been.
Buddy snitches himself
how long
out.
has it been
Sabrina, you listening?
It's been like.
However long you've been with
No,
Sabrina,
longer.
that's a good take.
It was longer actually.
Oh,
I stopped before it was starting to like.
Hey, look at me.
Be kind of.
Hey.
What?
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
I'll support you if you say as long as Sabrina, as long as you've been
No,
dating Sabrina. But it hasn't been longer.
It wasn't much longer, and what it was.
It was
that,
maybe an hour longer.
No. It was more than that. It was starting to like. It's like when people talk about that shit, like, yo, you should get off that stuff. It started to affect me in a negative way.
Like what?
Performance wise.
Like performance in bed?
Yeah. And then.
Are you switching?
Yeah, I'm talking.
I know, but you got to switch.
I switched once, and then I told you to move it, and then I forgot.
Oh my god, this guy's
okay.
retarded.
Not muscle memory for me like it is for you. You do it all the time.
I know, because I know what
Again,
I'm doing in life.
It's like this muscle memory.
No, see, that's what you don't have.
So yeah,
like I said, you need that.
So yeah, it was a couple months before.
Okay.
But because I know, like I said, it's a performance, and I was like, this is fucking.
Do you know what it is though?
What?
I can just break it down really easy.
Okay, break it down for me.
If you have many imaginary options, such as porn, and then in real life you don't have that, well, you're not going to perform as well because you're not as excited.
Well, for me, I saw it as two things. One was the mental, one was the physical. Because the one thing is, if you're, stroking your turkey, and
is that what you call it?
I don't know, spanking the monkey, whatever the fuck you want to say.
Spanking the monkey.
You never heard that one before?
Who do you
know?
Explains.
Who do you know? Hold on, let me tighten you up here.
Who explains that action by saying spanking the monkey?
Yeah, spanking the monkey.
Spanking the monkey's crazy talk.
Yeah. Anyways, if that's how you're used to, like, enjoying yourself, whatever. If that's how you're used to it, that's eventually physically you'll become accustomed to it. And then there's also the mental aspect as to what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
So you put those two things together, and for some people it doesn't matter. Some people it's like whatever. They're so high drive or whatever the fuck that just
That's me.
doesn't matter. So okay,
I've
fine.
done both.
I've
done both.
Like, power to you in a way, but at the same time it's also like
That's kind of gay. Power to you.
It's yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like at the same time it's like it's kind of a waste of time.
It's really
and so, like,
gay.
What?
It's really what it is like it's incel behavior.
No, it really is.
What it is that.
Yeah.
And essentially it gets you kept in your room doing the same shit and not really meeting girls. And that's the real problem with dudes that don't really talk to girls. If you talk to girls and you got a healthy lifestyle, you want to just watch a Pornhub or some shit. Go ahead, my guy. But
part of a balanced lifestyle out here.
Part of a balanced meal.
Jesus.
Listen, but if that's not who you are and you have a hard time being motivated to talk to girls, doing that, it's like being a cardinal from Philly. Chief Keef is your boy, right?
Damn, dude.
Chief Keef is your boy.
I guess good segue into that. So yeah, the Pope is American.
We got that fucking Jehovah fucking smoke.
That was pretty sick.
He's gonna be the last one, huh? And then.
Well, yeah, there were people talking about before, like, oh, there's like, if you go to the Vatican or like one of the buildings, it's not the Sistine, but like one of the buildings, it's like they only have enough portraits for this last one, and then like that's it.
Yeah, and then it's Judgment Day,
and then like whatever, and then there are other people like point out like, yo, if you look at this.
My thing is this:
at the end of the day, this can all be.
This is why this
explained the same way how you remember 2012.
Yeah.
2012 was the end of the world. Do you remember why it was supposed to be the end of the world?
The Mayan calendar.
The Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
And then people figured out it's like, oh, they just.
It's over. Yeah.
No, it's the only one. It's the only one to 2012 because that's just as far as they wrote. If they were still alive, they would have kept
it going.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Y2K was weird. But I'll say this one thing. Who said that? Who said that the Pope is the last Pope?
No one like famous. It's just people like on socials have been like, oh, if you look at
I understand, but who like they have this whole thing where every religion has this, and I'm not trying to shit on Catholics or Christians or whatever, but I'm really trying to shit on Jews. But that being said,
of course,
everybody wants to seem like they predicted the future in every religion.
Yeah.
That being said, it was just a normal guy who wrote the Bible, no?
No.
Who wrote the Bible?
It was, so if you're a believer.
Short version.
If you're a believer,
Yeah.
you will. Some of the Bible is like divine. So like the 10 Commandments did not come from humans. The 10 Commandments came from God. That's when Moses went up and
I understand
the mountain.
that, but Moses claims it came from God, correct?
That's what I'm saying. So like,
so it's secondary.
It's
divine,
yeah,
but it's secondary.
Yeah. So and then the other stuff is there were things that happened that people wrote down. So
Right.
like if you see something, you write it down, sort of.
Sure.
Thing.
I think
And
that's
stuff,
probably the most accurate. But I would say there's 11 guys in this world where I would say they're my best friends. You're part of the 11. But
Damn,
that
dude,
being
one of the
said,
disciples out here.
that being said,
There were 12, but
there's times where I know you're bullshitting me, right? And that's you. I know you today. One problem I have with religion is this. You're telling me about something that happened 2,000 years ago that's a secondary divine? Like, bro, I don't believe guys that are primarily in my face. How the fuck am I going to believe some dude that says these 10 commandments came from this guy? Not only is that guy dead, everybody that knew that guy is also dead. And everybody that was in that event is also dead. So, come on. And then, on top of that, you have a lot of religions that alter each other's histories. Oh, this guy said this, and this guy said this. And then it's just like, why are we doing this? Shouldn't divinity be with if you're a good person with good intentions, period? If you're a divine person, if you are a person of the Lord or heavenly powers, you are a good person with good intentions, trying to do good in the world. End of story.
Yeah.
What's with all these rules?
What do you mean it's with all these rules?
What's with all these rules? Halal meats, fucking Ash Wednesdays. Please. Enough, man. Like, I'm a good guy. I don't smoke weed no more. I just hit the vape. Let me in the gates. Let me in the fucking gates.
Ignore everything else. Just look at what I'm doing now.
Fuck that guy I shot in 2017. Don't worry about all that dope I sold. I've changed.
Shit.
I've changed.
I'm a different person.
I've repented my sins.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
back at the gates.
Oh, boy.
How long do you think Ye is going to be able to make this kind of music? Because I'm going to be honest with you, that was probably one of the best tracks I've heard from Kanye since... Remember that song? It was like... It was with... it was like... Stronger...
No way you think since that.
In
He
my
released
opinion.
a lot of bangers from...
Sure.
I think his last universally accepted good album, Life of Pablo.
I wasn't a big fan, but I think
Really?
this is just an opinionation.
Okay, fair enough. His definitely a lot of people say that he peaked around Graduation and then My Twisted Dark Fantasy.
Yeah.
Those were like, and a lot of people remember Graduation.
I think that's when he wasn't trying to be very political.
No, absolutely not. And then that's like the peak of T-Pain, all the people that he featured. He had collabs.
How's our
with,
volume?
He had, looks good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's very loud in my
Oh, no. It's
my ears. But we're very different, you know that, right?
I know,
that mic is down.
I do. He had collabs with the fucking guy from Coldplay. Like that was just Graduation was But wow, to say that this is the best song since Stronger, that says a lot. I will be listening to it at some point today. I just didn't have time. I was like out and about today. That's whatever. But
you want to listen to it real quick?
Sure, but we can't play it because
we can play it, but I will remove it.
Yeah, okay, sure. But I don't want to hear it there. I want to hear it like it's gonna sound. Okay, sure.
It's pretty fire.
We're gonna get my live reaction to this.
Yeah.
Is that him?
That's him.
Is he any features on this or just Kanye?
Who would feature? Who would feature this?
Good point. Good point.
This part's fire.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Listen.
Shit, dude. That does fucking slap. That's
Yo,
crazy.
it not only does it slap, but you got to understand, if you're even somewhat of a, and I'm not even going to be like a pro-Jew, pro-Nazi guy, but today, if we were going to say what was the side effects of having the Holocaust, we can point at a million things. What was the side effect of having Nazis? Right now, we can point at lesser things that are issues with that. Do you understand where I'm going with this?
I understand where you're going with it, but I do disagree. So continue.
Well, one, there's $38 billion that the U.S. wanted to give to Israel since 2016 with Barack Obama. So far, by 2023, there were $3.8 billion exceeding of that. The whole reason they picked Palestine area after World War II, do you know why they picked that region?
Who? The Zionists?
Zionists.
They've been claiming that since before World War II. Like
there's a strategic and a religious reason.
Everyone should know the religious one.
There's a strategic
that's
version.
the Promised Land, the Holy Land, Jerusalem, blah blah, all that stuff. Okay,
sure, that works. But first of all, these people DNA wise are not even from that area.
No. Well,
so that's one.
Well,
number two, let me finish.
Okay.
Number two is there's about $500 billion to $1 trillion worth of natural resources in that region. Just Gaza, just the Palestinian side. Suspect, right?
That whole region has that, though.
Not the whole region.
Yeah, dog.
But Gaza has
Iran,
Saudi. No.
Fucking
hold on. That's a huge region.
No,
you're talking about.
You're talking about the Middle East, my boy.
No. I'm just talking about Gaza.
Okay.
I'm just talking about Gaza.
Sure.
I'm not talking about like Saudi's got oil.
Yeah.
No shit. Everybody's got oil.
No, I'm saying that whole region is just like geologically speaking, it's fucking rich.
If we shrink it down just to Gaza, we'll be like, wow, this is very centralized in this region. Okay. There's articles from the early 40s with archaeologists speaking of this region having this much resources. Just coincidence, I guess. Aside from that, there is a supremacy that goes with, that's why we have the word Zionists, because there's a supremacy that goes with it. Right now, the Nazi supremacy is still alive, yet not as supreme. Because we feel victimization towards the Israelis where we don't feel that with the Nazis. We feel like, a Nazi has more than what he can have, but we always feel like, because of the Holocaust, Jews need to be able to do whatever the fuck they want, or so have they done that. The other side of it is, you notice that there's no other people that get discriminated against turns into you can't discriminate against them because it's law. And that's where I would wish that we stop, because it goes against USA amendments of
a lot of things are going against the Constitution of America right now. It's not just
But that's my point of the matter is, once you start going against the freedoms of the citizens that you're supposed to have, we have some issues.
Welcome to a Trump America.
Well, not only just Trump.
No,
this happened
it's
with
a Trump America,
but
man.
this
all this stuff you're to talk about happened recently. The laws that you're speaking about within the last month.
But the support of Israel has been happening since
the support of
World War
Israel
II.
has happened since before that.
Okay.
Since before Israel was a state, America had Jewish interest in mind. Understand
Why?
What do you mean why? It's because the Jews are smart, man. They put themselves in positions of power and making money since long before the World War II.
I understand.
Rockefeller was a Jew.
So
Rothschild was a Jew.
Yes.
The
and
lineage,
who are those guys
the
to
lineage
America?
in those families goes beyond World War II. Goes
100%.
beyond the Holocaust and
100%.
persecution.
So you say that
saying,
these countries also, these families also own other countries or have a great interest in multiple countries, correct?
What I'm saying is, regardless of the Holocaust, the Jews have put themselves in positions of power and money from a long, long time ago. They've had the foresight to work together towards being like, hey, we need to put our interests forward. We're a minority in terms of a worldwide population. How can we project ourselves forward? How can we secure our lineage going forward? Money, control banks, control institutions, control development, lobbies, governments, all that. How do we do that? And they went and did that.
Yeah.
They didn't waste their time with
This
bullshit.
This is why it would be a concern.
So I know, but what I'm saying is this whole thing of like, oh, like the Holocaust, like, yeah, that it doesn't matter. It would have happened regardless because it was already in place since before.
Yes, but things cycle better that way. 9/11 happened. Iraq invasion happened. It works better that way. Iraq invasion could have happened without 9/11, but 9/11 made it better.
Sure.
Right? Same thing with this. And it's hard. It's easy for me to, armchair quarterback this from 70 years later, and be like, this is the reason. And, I'm obsessed with hating Jews and blah, 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 blah. But the reality is, it's just not even hating Jews, but it's just interesting how the history settled, right? It's interesting where we are, where our politicians are. One thing I would want to say is, it's interesting how Mark Carney went and met with Trump and nothing really got resolved per se. Nothing got worse, but nothing got resolved. And he's supposed to be the best to deal with Trump. We're still paying like $20 for fucking avocados, bro.
I mean, with that, we gotta like see how that plays out. I mean, shit, Mark Carney's cabinet hasn't been announced. They're gonna be sworn in on Tuesday, so there's no one officially in power for Ministry of Transport, Ministry of all these guys. So we'll see how that goes. They are saying that like Chrystia Freeland's going to be like the minister of the interprovincial.
Oh,
blah, blah,
Lord!
whatever. So she won't be the external facing, but she will also be she will be the head negotiator for like Kuzma.
What did you hear
So
about?
how that goes.
There was an interview a while back. I don't know if you saw a glimpse of this, but there was an interview saying that I don't know what they're called, the proper verbiage to use for the UK government.
The UK government, what, Parliament?
Yeah, the Parliament members.
Okay,
so there was an interview a while back stating that the Parliament members in the UK have two sets of Parliament members.
Okay.
One that is on the TV, and one who is like the actual Parliament members, where the actual laws and gets dictated. Because even the Facebook and social media push on that wasn't the actual Parliament pushing that; it was behind the scenes, and then one day it came about. Have you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen this, but it does sound similar to like our situation. So in Canada, unlike the United States,
we don't have
we have the members of Parliament that we elect, that we just did last week, and then we have a Senate. A Senate is appointed. We don't hear about them.
Yeah.
We don't know about them. They're appointed for life. It's unlike in the U.S. where they appoint both their congressmen and their Senate, their senators, right? We don't do that here. And the UK also, they also follow the same system.
Interesting how that works.
So over there they have lords, and lords are for life. So you have
weird.
It's same deal. You have your members of parliament, and then you have your lords. It's not weird. It's just how it's a blend of like modern democracy with a blend of
traditionalism.
No, traditionalism, but monarchy. It's the monarchy system because you back in the day you used to have a king. And then you used to have feuds, like feudal lords.
Right.
Same deal. So it's like the king is the king, but he doesn't have fucking time to look at everything. So it's you'd appoint lords to section off certain parts of the country. Like, okay, you're the lord of Estonbury. You're the lord of my Astonbury, whatever the fuck, right? Yeah. And it's like, you need to tell me what's going on.
The creativity of Hector.
Pay the taxes. Tell me what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But it's yours until you die or I appoint somebody else in there.
I think
it's a similar situation.
The problem with that, would you say, would be the fact that...
Sorry, just quick, pass me in the camera bag. There's a battery in the side. And just open the thing in there, right there. Yeah, go ahead.
Wouldn't you say there's an issue with corruptness? I would say with corruption, if you have a lord that's meant for a lifetime, there's going to be issues with corruption, 100%.
It's a huge issue, and that's actually why even here people complain about that. They're like, how is it that we have a lifetime appointed Senate? Like you have a guy that's been serving for like 40 years. Like what?
Insane.
Yeah. So it's something that we've in Canada tried to reform and change, but.
And then the hypocrisy is here is like we look at guys like Putin, Fidel, Kim Jong-un, and we're like, or even the guy from China. Like China is a place where political sanctions can be changed, but the political party in power has not been changed.
Right. Whereas
the U.S. political sanctions do not change, but the political party in charge changes consecutively.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to the point where once you become, I guess, aware enough of these things and read about them enough, people either label you of two ways, and you label yourself in two ways. Either you go nuts, like Dean the mechanic, and you're just like, oh man, the world is coming to an end. It's lizard people on the mines. Or you just realize like you become desensitized to the nice and the negativity of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're just enjoying the journey as far as experiencing the negative and the positive. I met this really old guy the other day at the park when I was walking Senora, and he was dressed to the nine. Like, I haven't seen too many guys like that at that age, but I would say he's in his like mid to late 80s.
Damn.
Smoking a cigarette.
That's up there.
Wearing a nice velvet almost 3-piece with a little fucking little tie.
Yeah.
Brown. Looking nice. He's got, I don't know if it was real alligator or fake alligator on his shoes, but he had some nice shoes on. He had a nice car in the back, little CTSV caddy, just smoking by himself. And I talked to him, and I was like, you know, I put interest or heavy opinionation coming from older people that have their, you know, consciousness still yet intact. And you talk to them, you learn a lot, because you almost, in certain senses, you can live and understand things through their eyes that you might have not seen yourself. And even since when I was a kid, I always was interested in what people's opinion was, just so I can see things differently other than myself. And he told me something that was very interesting, and it might be kind of almost cliche, but he said, as you age, you become steadfast in everything. Your ups are steady, your lows are steady. And essentially what you're searching for is the excitement of pain or the excitement of happiness.
Interesting.
And he said that is, to me, the most interesting thing. Because right now, and he was kind of like a rude guy. He's like, my dick doesn't work. Right? He's like, it's not like I'm going and hitting on girls.
Yeah.
That's past me. My wife is dead. My family has moved on. My friends are dead. What is keeping me going?
Yeah.
It's the peaks. Whether it's a negative peak or a positive peak, it's the peaks. And essentially, my takeaway from that was, it's the journey of emotion that you are experiencing, which is life, which is the most important part of life. Not really how well you do or how much in shit you get, but it's the overall experience. If you have a vast sphere of experience and you're ending your life on that, you're going to feel a sense of completion, a sense of, you know, happiness, gratitude. Whereas if you just had ups or if you just had downs, you're always, by human nature, want the grass is greener on the other side. If you've experienced both, you understand what life is for itself. And that, to me, was probably one of the most interesting conversations
That is
had.
a pretty, like, if I just walked up to a stranger and had that conversation, I'd be thinking about that for like a day. Be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, in a good way. I'm like, how the fuck?
And generally, I've had good conversations with people, like whether it was in prison, older people, younger people, people of status.
But what I mean is, like,
context.
that's something that you like search for on YouTube. You're like, to hear someone talk about that kind of stuff. Because most of the time, you, when you shoot the shit with people randomly, it's like about random shit. It's
could
like
be whatever.
Could be about the game. Could be about like, oh, hey, I'm going to pick up my kid, or like, oh, what's your kid's name? Just hear about their life.
I would define that as low frequency conversations.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So to stumble upon that is really cool, and I think it actually, if you want to call it now, it leads me to a quote I was going to use for today.
I'm glad you found
Ready?
that. I saw you picking that up.
Yeah. Ready? So, chasing meaning is healthier than trying to avoid discomfort.
Yes. There's another quote I want to say. I think I'm going to fuck it up.
Okay.
A man who chases joy but not pain will experience both.
Mm.
I think it was similar to this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
We out.
We out.